Shiba Inu devs are back at it again, and they're not playing around. Over 548 trillion is on the edge. Whales are moving fast. A massive bombshell was dropped. The $1 might finally be possible because of this new upgrade, but only under one condition. This changes everything, but what is actually happening? And why am I being so excited? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. There's some alarming news stirring up the Shiba Inu community again. Once more, Shiba Inu's lead developer, Satoshi Kusama, has gone completely silent on social media. His last tweet was over 2 weeks ago, and since then, nothing. No updates, no hints, no interaction. And now, if you've been around for a while, you'll remember the last time this happened. It wasn't good. The price of Shiba Inu took a serious hit. Things got unstable fast. People started losing interest. It felt like all the momentum was just fading away, and investors were frustrated. Many were angry, saying the devs weren't doing enough, like they were just letting everything drift. But then Satoshi came back online, out of nowhere. And when he did, the mood completely shifted. The community lit up again, hope returned. People felt like maybe the devs were actually working behind the scenes, like maybe something big was coming. But now, here we are again. Another disappearance, and this time, it feels even worse. Investors are getting nervous. The community is once again stuck asking, what's going on? Is there something they're not telling us? Are we heading for another rough patch? Satoshi Kusama's most recent tweet came out on March 28th, finally breaking a silence that had lasted more than a month. By that time, the Shiba Inu community was already buzzing with questions and wild theories, wondering what the mysterious Shiba Inu lead was up to this time. Shortly after that post, the Shiba Inu team, especially Lucy, the project's marketing lead, stepped in to reassure the community. They said Kusama wasn't just off the grid for no reason. He was deep in work, actively building and focused on expanding the Shiba Inu ecosystem. And when Kusama returned, he didn't just drop a quick update, he went all in. In 2 long posts on X, he opened up about what he'd been doing during his time away. But it wasn't all about development. He talked about astrology, God, and some kind of intense spiritual journey. According to him, he had gone through the completion of a rare and extraordinary cosmic activation. It sounded more like something out of a sci-fi movie than a crypto update. So now the question is, what's happening this time? Is he once again diving into something bigger than just code and tokens? Or is he somewhere behind the scenes, knee-deep in building the future of Shiba Inu? And well, this is where things get interesting. Back in March, the team made several mentions of their upcoming Layer 3 solution. This is a major development being built on top of the existing Shibarium network. And what makes it even more interesting is that the groundwork for this L3 layer started over a year ago, right around the time Kusama resurfaced and raised $12 million from top-tier investment firms to fund its creation. From what we know so far, this Layer 3 network will use the Treat token and is designed with some big goals in mind, enhancing data privacy for users and making transactions faster and cheaper. These aren't small ambitions, and it's clear that something this big would demand a lot of time, energy, and focus. That's why many in the community believe this latest silence could mean one of 2 things. Either Kusama is locked in and leading the Shiba Inu team in building this next-gen solution, or he's gone back into another round of personal discovery and will return with more cryptic insights when he's ready. But even with all of that going on in the background, the timing couldn't be crazier for Shiba Inu. Right now, Shiba Inu is approaching a massive resistance level, one that could seriously test how strong the bulls really are. The market's under pressure, and conviction is being pushed to the edge. And here's the thing. The on-chain numbers tell a story that's hard to ignore. Over 548 trillion Shiba Inu are being held by wallets that are currently out of the money. That's a staggering amount. Basically, nearly 88% of all Shiba Inu holders are sitting on losses. That's not just disappointing. It's a huge weight dragging the community down. Still, somehow, Shiba Inu is holding up. It's showing unexpected resilience, refusing to crash the way some feared. But that pressure is real. Breaking through this resistance could change the entire mood of the market, but failing to do so could send Shiba Inu spiraling again. And that's why this latest silence from the devs just doesn't make sense. Right now, going quiet is the last thing this project needs. The community is desperate for clarity, for leadership, for something that shows the team is still fully locked in. We don't need cryptic tweets or long disappearances. What we need is a massive update, something real, something big, to to remind everyone why they believed in this project in the first place. Because with this much on the line, silence isn't just frustrating, it's risky. Looking at the price chart right now, Shiba Inu is showing some small but steady bullish movement. It's slowly inching toward that resistance at 4013, while still hovering close to the 4012 zone. On the surface, that might not seem like a big deal, but when you take a step back and look at the full picture, it really starts to matter. That's because there are over 866 trillion Shiba Inu, worth more than $10 billion, held at higher price levels. That means a huge portion of holders are just sitting there, underwater, waiting, hoping. You could even say these wallets are practically praying for a breakout so they can finally cut their losses. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The big wallets, the whales, are moving. According to an article by You Today, over the past 30 days, large holder inflow has surged by almost 192%, according to the inflow and outflow data. That means whales are stacking up on Shiba Inu. They're hoarding, and they usually don't do that for no reason. So now the speculation is this. Maybe the devs are getting ready to drop something big. Maybe this silence isn't just a disappearance. It's a setup. Maybe they know that Shiba Inu is standing right at a critical price point, and they're preparing to launch a major update that could push it over the edge. And well, think about it. The price is right on the line. The community is tense, and the resistance is huge. If the devs want to prove that Shiba Inu is still alive and worth believing in, now's the time. Maybe they've gone quiet, not because they're slacking, but because they're working behind the scenes, lining everything up to unleash something that can send Shiba Inu flying. And the whales? Maybe they know it. Maybe they've seen this pattern before, just like last time, when a surprise return came with updates and momentum. So now they're getting ready, positioning themselves before the rest of the market catches on. Because at this point, with so much pressure building, the devs have no choice. They have to deliver. And the smart money? It looks like they're already betting on it. And if you dig even deeper into the data, especially what was recently shared by You Today, the signs start pointing even more clearly towards something big brewing beneath the surface. While large holder inflows have shot up by nearly 192%, what's just as important is that outflows have dropped by more than 71%. That's a huge drop. It means whales aren't exiting their positions. They're either holding tight or moving into new ones. They're not running. They're settling in. That kind of behavior usually shows confidence. Despite all the unrealized losses, and despite the fact that only about 10% of Shiba Inu holders are currently in the money, long-term holders aren't giving up. They're staying put. They seem to believe that something's coming. And then, just as the speculation started heating up, Lucy, one of the dev team's most active members, dropped a message that got people talking. She didn't confirm anything directly, but her words said a lot. She basically made it clear that Shiba Inu is meant to be a foundation, like Bitcoin. If you want to make noise, build around it. That's how you lead, by creating real things, not just hyping. She reminded everyone that no one's stopping builders. The message wasn't just for fans. It felt like a signal, a quiet hint that development is happening, that something is being built, that maybe the silence isn't empty, it's productive. And when you connect all of this, the timing, the whale movements, the resistance levels, the dev silence, the inflows, and now Lucy's words, it all starts to feel less like a random coincidence and more like a setup, a moment before the storm, a calm before something big. It's like everything is lining up. The price is pressuring the devs. The devs know it, the whales know it, and now the community's just waiting to see what happens next. But if all of that wasn't enough to get people buzzing, things went completely off the rails shortly after. Lucy came back with another bombshell tweet, and this one really sent the community into overdrive. She casually wrote that she's always thought about Shiba Inu hitting 1 penny, but never really believed in the idea of it reaching $1. Then she said she asked ChatGPT about it, and that's when the whole situation started getting even crazier. See, Lucy has always been one of the more grounded voices in the community. She supported the 1 cent dream for Shiba Inu, but she never seriously entertained the idea of $1. That always seemed way too far-fetched. But when she threw the question to ChatGPT, even she was surprised by the answer. Instead of shutting the idea down, ChatGPT actually challenged the belief that $1 Shiba Inu is impossible. It said, yeah, it's ambitious, extremely ambitious, but it's not completely out of the question. And here's where it gets even more interesting. ChatGPT pointed back to the 2021 bull run, when Shiba Inu shocked everyone with a 40x gain. That wasn't just hype. It was driven by massive demand, an insanely active community, and the perfect wave of market momentum. That moment proved Shiba Inu could do what people thought was impossible. And now, looking ahead, ChatGPT said that if the global crypto market were to grow by 10x in the coming years, which many in the space see as a realistic future, then Shiba Inu's chances at hitting levels no one expected become a lot more believable. Because if the whole market gets that big, and Shiba Inu holds onto its spot among the top cryptos, that rising tide could lift Shiba Inu to heights that once felt like dreams. And ChatGPT didn't stop there. It actually laid out a few key factors that could help push Shiba Inu closer to that crazy $1 mark. The biggest one is, as expected, Shibarium. If adoption of Shibarium really takes off, and the number of transactions on the network explodes, that would lead to more Shiba Inu token burns. A lot more. And we all know that burning tokens reduces supply, which is exactly what Shiba Inu needs if it ever wants to climb to higher price levels. ChatGPT also pointed to the increasing real-world utility of Shiba Inu. It's not just about holding tokens anymore. Shiba Inu is starting to appear in payment systems, gaming, and even digital identity platforms. These aren't just future ideas, they're slowly becoming real, giving Shiba Inu a use beyond speculation. On top of that, the rise of ecosystem tokens like Treat and Bone is playing a huge role. As these tokens become more widely adopted and integrated into the Shiba Inu ecosystem, they bring in more users, more transactions, and more value overall. And here's the part that really got people thinking. ChatGPT made it clear. Shiba Inu hitting $1 isn't a guarantee and not a promise. But it's no longer just a meme or a joke either. It's a challenge. A high bar that could actually be reached through consistent burning, real adoption, and continued development of real-world use cases. That's the shift happening now. The dream of Shiba Inu to $1 used to sound like fantasy. But suddenly, it's starting to feel like something that might, just might, be possible. So now people aren't just talking about resistance levels or dev activity. They're dreaming again. And this time it's big. And with everything that's been happening lately, it's starting to feel like maybe, just maybe, something wild is coming. But even with all this hype, not everyone was convinced. Some people stayed skeptical, saying, "Come on, it's just an AI talking. There's no real analysis or hard data behind it." And fair enough, it was a speculative answer. So that's when we decided to dig even deeper, to look at what's actually happening on the market right now. And honestly, what we found made things even more interesting. It turns out the market's in a really strange spot. One analyst even joked, 3 days in a row of my bags not getting crushed. Feels weird. It was funny, but also kind of telling. Because for the first time in a while, there's this weird sense of calm across the crypto space. And of course, it's a reference to when Trump dropped the tariff announcements a while back, when crypto was swinging up and down like crazy. Back then, every piece of news would send markets into chaos. But now, things have settled down a bit. There's less panic, less noise, and that calm, that's actually a good sign. For Shiba Inu, this kind of environment is exactly what's needed. It gives the devs space to build. It gives the community time to reset. And it opens the door for smart, steady momentum instead of wild swings. It's a moment of peace. And maybe, just maybe, the perfect setup for whatever comes next. And it turns out, this really was the perfect setup. Right when the community started buzzing, we just got hit with some major news. But this time, not from AI or speculation. This came straight from a panel of 26 industry experts who've been closely watching Shiba Inu's journey. These crypto pros have shared a fresh forecast, and let's just say, their long-term outlook is very different from the mood we've seen during the recent dips. They're talking about real gains, real milestones, and real potential stretching all the way into 2025 and beyond. And unlike the fun conversation Lucy had with ChatGPT, this one is backed by years of experience and serious market insight. This isn't just talk, it's grounded in analysis. So what exactly did they say? What do these experts believe is coming next for Shiba Inu? Well, let's get into that. According to this expert panel, Shiba Inu could actually be on track for a serious comeback before the year even ends. Their average prediction? Shiba Inu closing out 2025 at 399. That's about an 84% increase from early 2025 levels, and an even more impressive 231% jump from where Shiba Inu is sitting right now. And while that's the average, some of the individual predictions are even bolder. Gracie Chen, the CEO of BitGet, thinks Shiba Inu could hit almost twice that by the end of 2025. Ruodhan O from Seasonal Tokens sees it at 40500, though he does caution that Dogecoin might steal some of the attention. And then there's Ronan Kojokaru, CEO of 8081 Inc., who's the most bullish of the bunch. He sees Shiba Inu climbing all the way to 407, which would be a massive 510% gain from today's price. Of course, not everyone is bullish. John Hawkins from the University of Canberra thinks Shiba Inu could drop in price even more, pointing to fading hype around meme coins and comparing it to how NFTs lost steam. And honestly, Shiba Inu has hovered near or even slightly below that level recently. But still, it's showing signs of recovery. And here's the thing. This is exactly the kind of insight the community needed right now. After weeks of silence from the devs, a shaky price, and a lot of uncertainty, this expert analysis brings some clarity. And what's wild is how much it lines up with everything we've talked about. We saw whales moving. We saw the community holding strong. We saw Lucy teasing something big. We saw ChatGPT painting a long-term vision. And now, we've got real market experts backing up the idea that Shiba Inu might not just survive this moment, but actually come out way stronger on the other side. So maybe all this really is building towards something, and we're just now starting to see it unfold. And when we look even further ahead into 2030 and beyond, the outlook gets even more exciting. According to the same panel of experts, Shiba Inu isn't just expected to grow. It's expected to keep removing zeros from its price. Year by year, they see it pushing higher, slowly but steadily climbing, fueled by adoption, development, and that massive community that refuses to give up. And then, just when the momentum started to build again, Lucy came in with another powerful message, one that really summed it all up, especially for the skeptics. She basically said, look, Shiba Inu is currently ranked 15th in the world. Yes, it has a huge supply, but that's not the full story. There are thousands of tokens out there with small supplies with flashy names, and yet nobody's investing in them. Simply because Shiba Inu isn't just another coin, it's a movement. It's something that everyday people connect with. They feel like they're a part of something bigger. It's not about hype anymore. It's about community, persistence, and belief. And honestly, that's the perfect way to tie all of this together. This isn't just numbers and price charts. It's about the spirit of the project, and that might be the most powerful fuel of all. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Shiba Inu update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.